guys, it's Santa Fe week for that Philly cooking cream, and I gotta tell you, been missing home, missing Texas. I know I was just there for the holidays, but there's nothing like some good comfort food in the wintertime, like some good chicken enchiladas. This is a recipe that I kind of hodged together about 2 or 3 years ago now. It's become a favorite. My husband loves it. I've cooked it up for friends. So what we're going to do today is actually think about how you can change some of your favorite recipes using a new product. Now in this case, I make a roasted tomatillo salsa. Super simple, and I gotta admit, the first time that I actually made this salsa, I was like, really? That's all it is? Oh my gosh, why haven't I been doing this more often? I've got some tomatillos, about a pound. They're quartered up, they're husked and quartered. I've got some poblano pepper. Now the first time I originally found this recipe, they used jalapenos, and poblanos are just my favorite. So we've got almost, I guess, 2 large peppers that have been washed, seeded, and kind of just cut into chunks. I've got a large onion, a very large onion, that's been peeled, quartered, and you'll notice that the layers have been pulled apart. I've got some cilantro, nice fresh cilantro chopped up. Garlic, about 3 tablespoons by the time you're said and done. I've got some lime juice here, about 2 tablespoons, and then some salt and some cumin. What we're going to do, and I'm breaking this down into stages because it seems like a complex recipe, but it's really not. First, we're going to put all of this in a roasting pan, put it in the oven at 450 for about 10 to 15 minutes, get it nice and roasted. Then we're just going to throw it all into the food processor, mix it up, and make this wonderful roasted tomatillo salsa. Next step, we're going to move on to making the chicken enchiladas. So here I've got about 4 pounds of chicken that's been cooked and shredded. Different ways you can do this. When I'm in a hurry, I just go to the grocery store and buy a rotisserie chicken. $4, take it home, pull it apart, good to go, no rush, you're set. Other options, throw some chicken breast in the oven, season it up, cook it for about 10-15 minutes, and then shred it. Or, if you've got some more time on your hands, just get a whole little fryer. Put it in a stock pot with about 6 cups of water, let it boil for about an hour and a half, cook thoroughly, drain it. I would recommend you save the broth because that's homemade chicken broth that you can't go wrong with. And shred that. But like I said, in this case, just a rotisserie chicken. Pull the meat apart, we've got about 4 cups. We're going to basically take the onion with some olive oil, saute it up, add in the cooking cream, add in some fresh minced garlic and the chicken. Throw all that in the skillet and get it cooked up thoroughly. Then we're going to take our tortillas and spoon this mixture into a tortilla. Chop it, or top it with some cheese, roll them up, put them in our baking dish that's been lined with a little bit of our salsa. Top it with some more of the salsa, bake it for a little bit, take it back out. We're going to make a green sauce with some of our salsa and some sour cream, top the enchiladas, and put them back in the oven. It sounds like a lot, but we'll break it down into easy steps. First step, got to get the salsa going. So let's get these on the pan and get them in the oven. We've got all of our veggies here in the pan. We've got our onion, we've got our tomatillo, we've got our poblano, we've got our garlic. So now I've got about 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and we're just going to kind of drizzle it across everything. You can make paint patterns, you can paint pictures. All we have to do next is put it in the oven at 450 for about 15 minutes, get it nice and crispy. So here we go. We've got our roasted vegetables here. Now you'll notice that when I put them into the pan, I had this foil. It wasn't just to keep the pan clean. It had to do with how we're going to put it into the food processor. I want all of the wonderful juices that have come out of the garlic and the pepper and the onion. So I'm just going to pick up the foil and dump it into here. There we go. Drop the last few pieces. Next up, I need to add the lemon juice, the cilantro, and the cumin and salt. So let me get that, and we'll be right back. Now you'll notice that we've got roughly 4 cups of salsa out of that batch. That's going to be important later because we're going to use a little bit as we cook up the chicken mixture. We're going to put some in the bottom of our baking dish, and we're going to pour some on top of the enchiladas while they cook. So pay attention to how much we use each time, but I'll be sure to give you some tips on how to remember. Next up, it's time to get those onions sauteed up and put that wonderful Santa Fe cream cheese to work. Now remember how I said it was important to remember how much salsa we made. We made 4 cups. I've got about 1.5 cups left in this big container. I've taken out 1 cup and another 1.5 cups so that we can have everything ready to go for each of the different stages of our recipe. So what we're going to do next is go ahead and pour our 3 tablespoons of olive oil in our skillet. And get that turned on to about a medium-high heat. We're going to add our onion in here. Next up we add our garlic. So just sprinkle that minced garlic in here. Make sure we get all of it. That garlicky goodness. This is definitely not a recipe for vampires. Now we're going to go ahead and add in our salsa. So our 1.5 cups here. Now we've got everything mixed in. We've got our onion, our garlic, and our salsa. You notice that this is a pretty onion heavy recipe. Even if onion isn't one of your favorite vegetables, you have a little aversion to onion, I promise you, everything gets cooked out, so it just gives it a really nice punch of a flavor. So what we need to do next is add our fabulous cooking cream. Now I mentioned before, this stuff is just too wonderful. All the spices you need are in here. So we're going to get it added with our chicken and we'll be good to go. We've got the chicken mixed in, we've got the salsa, we've got the onion. Oh, it smells fabulous. So now it's time to start making our enchiladas. We're starting with a stack of 10 enchiladas. This batch can make anywhere from 10 to 20. It just depends on how thick, how big you want those enchiladas to be. So we're just going to start working by taking a scoop and dropping it right in the middle of our tortilla. Looks like we can use a little bit more. There we go. So now we want to make it better by adding some cheese on top. So we just take a little bit of cheese and just sprinkle it right across the top here. Now we want to roll it up like a cigar. So we'll twist it around, fold it over, and just roll it up. Now I went ahead and took that cup of our salsa and spread it out in the bottom of our baking dish. So now I'm going to set our tortilla wrap into the baking dish with the bottom side down. Time to repeat with the rest of our tortillas. We got the rest of our enchiladas all rolled up, so we've got a nice batch here. You can see you can feed just about an army with this recipe. Now I went ahead and took about 2 tablespoons of our salsa and set it aside with a full 16-ounce container of sour cream. We're going to put that on top about 20 minutes into the baking process. So let's take the rest of our salsa and just pour it across the top of our enchiladas. It doesn't have to be pretty because it's just going to get baked in and taste so wonderful. So you can see with the amount that we had, it makes about 3 rows. Now I started with 2 cups of cheese. After I sprinkled some into each enchilada, this is what I have left. So we're just going to take the rest of this cheese and put it across the top. This smells fabulous. So there's the rest of that. Next up, 350 degrees, 20 minutes in the oven. Then we'll pull it out, pour across this wonderful green sour cream sauce, 10 more minutes, and it's going to be fabulous to eat. So stay tuned. Oh, look at that. Our 20 minutes are up. It's time to put this wonderful sour cream sauce on top. So remember, it was just a 16-ounce container of sour cream with 2 tablespoons of that salsa that we made up. I'm just going to go right across the top, and we'll use our spatula to kind of spread it out. Set that aside. This time I've got foil, so for the last 10 minutes we're going to cover it. We don't want to scorch the sour cream. A loose cover's fine. So 10 more minutes and we'll be ready to eat. Oh, it came out perfect. So now we got to make sure it tastes as fabulous as it looks. Or at least as fabulous as it smells. I'm telling you, Sony, smell-o-vision, get on it now. Seriously, so creamy, so delicious. Another great recipe. You'll want to make this one the next time you have a great dinner party. which is where I'm headed right now. So thanks.